Hi, I'm Abby Stouffer. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for doTERRA Europe, and today I am joined by Dr. Røsel Osgutorp, doTERRA's Chief Medical Officer. Hi, Dr.
Great to be with you, Abby.
You too. So today we are going to be talking about a great subject, which I know you are very familiar and passionate about, which is purity and consistency.
It's a very big deal to me, something that I've been thinking about a lot since I came to doTERRA over 5 years ago.
Can you tell me what we mean by purity and by consistency in the context of doTERRA and essential oils?
Purity needs to be defined. For the purposes of today,
Yeah.
when I talk about purity, what I'm talking about is lack of adulteration, meaning the addition of something to an essential oil or the complete fabrication of an essential oil by chemists. So usually that is done for the purposes of increasing the profit of whoever is doing that.
So when I see a bottle of doTERRA essential oil, if I pick it up, I know that that has come from its true source, its true origin. Are you telling me that there are other products that are available on the market that will tell me they are those things, but they'll be manipulated? They'll have different things added to them.
We've been at doTERRA, I think most people know that the essential oil industry as a whole is riddled with adulterated products. And we have actually gone to great lengths to detail this. We've showed it with my colleague, Dr. Prabodh Satyal, who works in our essential oil science lab. He has published multiple papers showing the extent of adulteration of essential oils in the marketplace by other companies. His most recent couple of papers have been on birch essential oil and frankincense essential oil, where we have detailed the amount of adulteration in those specific supply chains. Adulteration of birch was especially egregious. Birch in the marketplace today, there is not a single company other than doTERRA that is marketing a birch oil that is not only pure birch, but has any birch in it at all. So let me explain what that means. Every other company's birch that we looked at prior to launching our birch last year contained no birch in it at all. Birch on the bottle, no birch in the bottle.
So what was it?
It was either fabricated from wintergreen,
Okay.
or completely fabricated from aspirin, expired lots of aspirin. You can get to methyl salicylate, which is the main chemical component of both wintergreen and birch essential oil, by taking aspirin and doing a very simple organic chemistry single step to turn it into methyl salicylate. And boy, is it cheap to do that. Very, very cheap. And so you can put it in the bottle, it'll smell like it, but it has nothing to do with birch at all.
How would someone know?
They wouldn't. And that's really one of the problems in the essential oil industry. Many people who are buying, I'll just say cheap essential oils, or even mid-priced to expensive essential oils, don't know what they're buying. The secondary market is so rife with adulteration that essentially nowadays you cannot have a pure or a consistent oil if you're purchasing it on the secondary market. You have to own your supply chain all the way through to guarantee that your customer will receive a pure, unadulterated, and consistent essential oil.
And how does doTERRA do that? How do we make sure that it is safe and people know that they can trust?
It has been an incredible journey. I think most of us remember the videos of Emily searching for pure essential oils when doTERRA was just beginning with Dave and Doc and Greg. Those beginnings, she had a hard time finding pure essential oils because nobody in the industry really wants a pure essential oil. They want something that is chemically indistinguishable from something that is pure and natural, but is not pure and natural.
Why do they want that though? So that it can be as cheap as possible?
Well, if you're a toothpaste maker, you want that brand of toothpaste to never, ever vary any tiny amount from one tube of toothpaste to the next, Peppermint essential oil is used in thousands of products, tens of thousands of products. And peppermint essential oil is totally deconstructed in the industry down to its root components through very fractional distillation tools that allow single chemical compounds to be taken out of the plant essential oil. And then they take all of these test tubes of single chemical compounds and reconstitute them back to this fake, resynthesized natural product. But it isn't what it started out as. And I have huge problems with that from a transparency, safety, and efficacy perspective. And I think that our customers should be educated on it because we make a big deal about delivering to the marketplace a pure and consistent essential oil, free of adulteration and with consistent chemistry that you can rely on bottle to bottle and batch to batch and year to year.
With the amount of essential oils that doTERRA is able to provide, how do we make sure from a consistency point of view that they're all safe, that they're all the same?
Well, we do that through co-impact sourcing. And I can describe that through some of our huge products like orange oil, peppermint oil, lavender. We have fields of lavender all over the world. We also do with co-impact sourcing. We have farmers in developing countries like Kenya where they have 3-acre farms, and we bring 500 farmers' growth of geranium essential oil or tea tree essential oil into a common distillery. And then at doTERRA, when you distill an essential oil, people need to understand this. It's more of an art worldwide than it is a science. doTERRA has made it a science. When we distill lavender at Esoterri, or when we distill geranium essential oil in Kenya, we are distilling it under the exact same conditions every single time. We have the same amount of product in the vat. We have the same temperature, the same pressure, and the same time. That results in an essential oil coming out of that distillation, which is very, very similar to the last time we did it. Then we bring all that together, and whether it's co-impact source or sourced from huge fields of lavender all over the world, we blend those together, and that ends up with reducing the variation of the chemistry year to year. So that when you look at the average linalool content in lavender over the last 8 years at doTERRA, it's very, very similar. So we are delivering not only a pure lavender to the marketplace, but to our current understanding, we are delivering the only consistent lavender to the marketplace. Every other company is buying their lavender from other places, and their linalool content can vary tremendously. The International Standard Organization tells the industry what a good lavender should be, and their good lavender range for linalool is 20 to 40%. That's big enough you can drive a truck through it. doTERRA's linalool content of its lavender is around 33%, with 1% variation on either side of that number over the last 8 years of production. That type of consistency is done through those methods that I just described. Co-impact sourced, blending to reduce variation, making distillation a science and not an art.
It's incredible. And I think there'll be some people watching this that are already in the know of much of this information, and will feel equally passionately about it. It will be maybe products that they take internally, that they apply to their skin, and they're very conscientious
about their choice.
About their choice.
Yep.
However, there will also maybe be others that are watching that want a nice smell for their home and might not understand how the differences between what kind of products they can get from the market, and they may be happier paying that smaller price for that nice smell in their home.
Well, can I break in here?
Please.
Would you buy a car without brakes that worked?
No.
You should not buy a cheap essential oil. Cheap essential oils are fabricated. They are not pure. They are not consistent. You will not get safe and efficacious results by using them. In fact, quite the opposite. You cannot have safety without purity and consistency. Sorry, this gets me upset. Without purity, you don't know what you're putting on or into your body. That nice smell, it's going into your lungs.
But it's hard for people to know.
I know, because it smells
good.
nice.
Because it smells nice, but also it's not something that is visual. You know, you can't look at two bottles and go, okay, well, I can see that this one is going to maybe do me harm, or this one's good. We know from hearing from you for doTERRA of the work that goes into making that a reality, to having that purity and consistency. But for the person who's making a decision and is looking at product on the shelf, they wouldn't know.
Yeah, I think that you bring up a perfect point, Abby. And I think that most people need to be much more engaged in choosing what goes in or on their bodies. I know that our friends in Europe are very, very choosy and very, very careful about these kinds of things in their homes. I think that our wellness advocates and our customers need to educate the world about this. And they need to help people to understand that that cheap bottle of essential oil that comes in your hotel shampoo, or because everything's got essential oils in it now. It's become a commodity. But the problem is that because it's been a commodity and because it's grown so tremendously over the past 15 to some odd years, unscrupulous business has taken over the essential oil universe, and you get what you pay for. And people need to be very, very choosy, because these essential oils go in our lungs, on our skin, and in our bodies. Without knowing what is in the bottle, you're not safe.
So people need to do their research.
People do. I mean, you told me earlier that you have a little one at home.
I do.
How old?
He's 2.
So
George.
You got to be careful, right?
Absolutely.
You're very careful about what food you give him.
Yeah.
You're very careful about what clothes he wears. You're very careful about all of those things. Essential oils are even more important because they go into and on our bodies. They affect our chemistry. These plants have been with us a long time. And if we do these plants, these essential oils right, they will help improve our health and wellness. But we have to be using pure, unadulterated, and consistent product.
Dr. O, before we wrap up, is there anything in the realms of purity or consistency that you don't feel like we've touched on today that you think is important to share?
Well, I think that probably the most important thing that we've touched on is this purity piece, but I think most of us that are at doTERRA get it.
Yes.
I just need people to share it. The second piece that we haven't spent as much time on is consistency. I, as a physician, understand dosing. I understand that the number of milligrams I prescribe as a pediatrician to a 2-year-old will vary greatly if that child is 18 years old. Their body size is so wildly different that I have to very specifically dose the same drug for those 2 different people. Essential oils have chemistry within them that are very powerful. And if a manufacturer of essential oils does not have consistency, then you as a mom have no idea how to dose essential oils to have the same effect year to year. Remember that 20 to 40% difference in lavender, in linalool? One day, you could buy a bottle from a company that was 20%, the next day 40, and then vice versa. So you could be underdosing one bottle and then next year overdosing and you wouldn't know. That is why consistency is so important to me for our wellness advocates to understand. Because at doTERRA, we have, because of co-impact sourcing, consistency that allows you to know that the potency of the chemistry in every drop is, for all intents and purposes, the same year to year and batch to batch. And that's really important. So thank you for asking that.
That's okay. Dr. Rowe, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege to be able to talk with you today. And thank you so much for sharing what you know, what you love, and the passion behind it as well.
Appreciate it too.